there's a lot of wear and tear around this house. Today we're gonna fix up some stuff, starting with all the holes in the walls. This part of the wall had gotten so bad, you can see the structure of the house. They treat everything like a cat post. Water damage from my AC that had been dripping onto my carpet that had went through the ceiling. Area with water damage. Am I gonna tell my landlord? No. They don't know, it won't hurt them. Like nothing had ever happened before.
Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, hi, hello, welcome. I am Sherrilyn and I am so glad you found me. If you are not new here, thank you so much for coming back. I love and I appreciate you so much. Happy Halloween. It is Halloween. It is my favorite, one of my favorite times of the year. Christmas is really like, I think taking the number one spot just because of my kids. I just, love doing all that, but I love Halloween. I love an excuse to dress up. If you watch Here for the Clout, you know that because Chelsea and I find any excuse to cosplay over there. So, yeah, I had to do a little bit of something. I hope you guys are all being safe, but I do feel like a lot of people haven't done a lot of stuff this year. I'm just like, I didn't have a Halloween party, which I always do. And I'm like, it's okay. I'm going to live vicariously through other people. And I just kept like trying to refresh my feed. Like, where are all the parties? I hope Heidi is doing something tonight because like I'm really putting all my eggs in her basket. That woman carries Halloween. So that's what I'll be doing tonight. I'm also gonna, I think, watch, I don't know. I usually watch like all of the Halloween franchise series. I prefer the Rob Zombie ones, but I think I'm gonna go old school today. So anyways, that's that. What other things do we have to mention right now? I don't really think anything. Just be safe, have fun. Let me know what you're being in the comments because I absolutely love it. If you are on my Patreon, I'd love to see pictures. I think you can upload them in the chat. I really hope you can, and if I'm making that up, I'm so sorry, but please just tell me what you are. Also, if you love Patreon and getting like exclusive behind the scenes stuff, go over to Here for the Clout podcast. We are launching our Patreon tomorrow. There's like extended episodes, bonus, all that good stuff. I'm actually really, really excited for it because I have somebody who, Chelsea, is good with like the direction. Like this is what we're doing. This is what we're committing to. And I love that for us. So yeah, I think that's it. Okay, we are going to get started. Before we do, I have a quick message for you. Thank you to today's sponsor, Pretty Litter. If you have never heard of Pretty Litter, I feel like you have heard of Pretty Litter. I have been eyeing this brand and wanting to try it for so long. And then ever since I heard my girl Jessie Smiles rave about it, I was like, okay, that's it. If you haven't heard of it though, it is cat litter that advertises health monitoring for your cat. It was developed by veterinarians, and one of my favorite appeals about it is that it changes colors based on the pH of your cat's urine and then monitors for acidity and alkalinity levels outside of the average range, which I love because as much as we wish we could communicate and read our cat's minds, we can't. It comes with a little chart too so that you can gauge the colors that are on the chart based on what you see in the litter box. So if you see something that looks a little alarming, you can refer to the chart and like kind of use that as a jump off point of what you can communicate with your veterinarian. This is something I don't think that I worried about too much, but as my girl's getting older, I worry about her so much. So I like being able to, like as I clean up, just take a little peek, see how things are going, and then move on because so far, so good. I will say it is also much more manageable for cleanup and the odor control is top notch. And I know you can't, you don't generally think of kitty litter being like more aesthetically pleasing, but I do think of that with Pretty Litter because it's the crystals. So as opposed to looking at, the sandy, like clumpy clay, the nice beaded crystals are much more aesthetically pleasing, which is a bonus. So if you have been eyeing them like I was and you want to give them a try, you can head on over to prettylitter.com/Sherrilyn and use my code Sherrilyn for 20% off your first order plus a free cat toy. I was so excited to get the cat toy because I wasn't expecting it. And now my girls are playing around with clay. Again, like I said, she's old. She's like, I think they are enjoying it more than she is. But I mean, like, the gesture was amazing. And at least my kids are getting a lot of use out of it. So if your kids are also looking for a free cat toy to play with, you can head on over to prettylitter.com/Sherrilyn and use my code Sherrilyn for 20% off of your first order and the free cat toy. Thank you again so much, Pretty Litter, for sponsoring today's video. All right, today's topic is one that I've been wanting to talk about for quite a while, but I didn't know like what place I had to talk about because I have a lot of thoughts about it. So I don't I'm coming in this with like compassion and understanding in certain aspects, but then a little bit of like checking because I'm like, oh, come on, girl. We're talking about Amanda Rose today, and I don't want it to specifically to be like Amanda Rose. I know there's a lot of people on TikTok who do this type of content, but if you don't know who Amanda Rose is, she is a mom on TikTok who she's got over like 2 million followers, and she really went, viral for doing realistic cleaning videos, kind of. They're extreme. She definitely admits that her house has been in really, really bad shape. And then I think she's kind of gotten herself into, not controversies, but people have, commented like, okay, well, there's like a point of it getting really bad and then you recognize it and do the clean. But why does it continue to get like even worse than it was in the last video?
My husband was craving a clean house, so I woke up at dawn and went out to my garden so I can make an all-organic cleaning product. I started with my daughter's bathroom first. There was clothes all over the floor, even dirty diapers, and a whole bunch of toys that I handcrafted myself. I truly wish, bitch. No, hi, I'm Amanda Rose. Much as I wish I had my life together like some people, fortunately I just don't. And this is what my house looks like 9 times out of 10. I have 2 kids, 1 husband, 2 cats, 1 dog, and 0 motivation. Being a stay-at-home mom is the most repetitive shit I've ever done. If it's not cooking 3 meals a day, wiping my kid's ass, or saying no 1 million times, it is cleaning up after everybody else. The job has 0 breaks and 100% no pay. So oftentimes when I get asked, do you like being a stay-at-home mom? The answer will be hell no. Don't get me wrong, I love hanging out with my babies. The acts of stay-at-home momnism, I wish I didn't have to do. But here I am, forced to do it because of my own motherfucking actions. But being a stay-at-home mom is something I'm so grateful for, but sometimes I just don't like it.
All right, so in her videos, something that I noticed a while back was she mentions that she's a renter. And I don't know about you, I loved being a renter. We now own our home. We're actually in the process of selling it, but I'm like literally going back and forth by being like, do we repurchase something smaller like an apartment and then like start the income property of things and then just do a temporary rent to like figure it all out? I like renting for that aspect of just kind of being like, what are we doing? What are we doing right here? And so, but what me as a renter, there is this responsibility that I've always felt to treat that home like it's my own, if not better. You want to make it your own home, obviously, and not feel like I'm living in somebody else's house, but that's got to be in like the back of your mind. There's like an amount of respect that you should have for being in somebody else's home. And I am appalled, and I understand that people's circumstances are so different. Amanda's been open with her mental health, which I appreciate. If you are new here, I think every episode there's like some reference to mental health and how I like to talk about it to break the stigma. I have a laundry list of, experiences that I could share with you all about struggles that I've had with my mental health. So I do appreciate that she can acknowledge that aspect, but I don't like when it's used as a crutch, and especially in this type of situation, because being somebody who's been at very low points in my life and still being a renter, that respect and I don't know, just like acknowledgement of like, I'm very lucky to be in this space, that somebody like gave me this opportunity since I wasn't in a position many times to be able to purchase, my own home. And I if I was the landlord seeing what was going on in my house in these videos, I would be heartbroken. I would be appalled. So yes, it gets cleaned up. But in a lot of videos too, she's done things made in, in her mind improvement. She's like ripped out carpet and put vinyl flooring in and stuff like that. She's also doing it herself, DIY style, and admits that she doesn't really have a lot of skills in doing it. So it's a lot of, we'll go through some of that trial and error. And that's cool to do, like with your own house. Like you're renting. I just find it so disrespectful. But anyways, so lately, Amanda has been sharing that she purchased her own house. Great. Like she acknowledges that her videos of cleaning and due to the growth that she's had on TikTok have brought her to that point in her life, which I am so excited for her. I hope she's very proud of herself. It seems like, she is taking that moment in and, being able to reflect and appreciate how far she's gotten in like a year, maybe 2 years. And but what we need to talk about today is, because of all of this stuff that has gone on and has gotten her the growth that we've seen on the channel, she's taken everybody along the journey of getting the house cleaned up. And she keeps saying because she wants her damage deposit back. And I was like, okay, this has to be like your clickbait, rage bait, because she recognizes that brings in a large draw for her channel. People are, I don't know, we're suckers for freaking punishment of being like, oops, but then we can't look away. So I was like, she can't be serious that she thinks she's going to get her damage deposit back, especially with all of these videos out there. I don't know if her landlord ever followed her TikTok or knew anything about her, but I'm like, girl, if I was your landlord, I would have been like, is this a joke? So anyways, it turns out I don't think it is. We are going to kind of go through this process though, okay? So we'll start from her telling us that she's moving out and that the goal is getting the house back so that she can get her back in tip-top shape, so she can get her damage deposit back.
My family and I are moving out of this house that we've been renting for almost 5 years. However, there's a lot of wear and tear around this house. Today we're gonna fix up some stuff, starting with all the holes in the walls. There was an insane amount of nail screw holes all over that I filled up, and this part of the wall had gotten so bad you can see the structure of the house. My cats tore this to shreds. They treat everything like a cat post. Leads me to the next thing that needs work done. All of the window seals are like this, so scratched up. So I'm hoping by covering up all the scratches with some caulk it will do wonders. And this right here was my biggest challenge. There's water damage from my AC that had been dripping onto my carpet that had went through the ceiling. We're doing the landlord special and just caulking it up. This one's embarrassing. I had punched a hole in the wall, and I had punched a hole in the wall right above that hole. So after all of the caulk was dry, I sanded everything down and gave everything a good wipe down. I then went to Home Depot and I said, look, I need a swatch of this color. I need it to match exactly like it. Can you please do that? She said, yep. So I got the exact same color as well as this. This was just a plain white. It need a second coat, so I did go over it again. For the area with water damage, am I going to tell my landlord? No. Is that shitty? Maybe. But if you can't see it like that, they probably wouldn't even do anything about it either. If I'm being so honest with you, and it looks much better now. Okay, so they don't know, it won't hurt them. For everything else, I just sanded it down and just painted over it. And what do you know? It looks like nothing had ever happened before.
So I have so much to acknowledge here. First of all, please let me know, because I'm not like, a condensation specialist or anything like that. But if there's water damage and it hasn't been like treated properly, isn't there potential for like bigger issues going down the road? And then we probably should acknowledge that. I don't know. That's just in my mind. That's what I would think. Whenever I see like, like areas in like a ceiling and they're like, oh, that's water damage. I'm like, it looks funky. Do we need to address it like within the structure? I have a lot of thoughts here. First of all, there are several videos where she talks about her cats and her animals like peeing on everything. She always talks about her animals like peeing on things and cutting, like and scratching everything to shit. I get it. Have animals, but also like we need to find like an area or like intervention for that. Like can we find a scratch post, or even if like maybe they like that wood things, like there's different types of things that can attract your cat to go there instead of everywhere else, like the side of the wall, the window landing. Oh my gosh, it's like we need to address the problem. We can't just be like, yeah, the house is your scratching post. Let's get a scratching post. Maybe you have a scratching post. Maybe it's not the right one. I didn't know that about cats specifically, that you like some of them don't just like a carpet one. Some of them like the messier one with like the cardboard and stuff like that, or like a little bit of like a rougher like grit. So there's things we can do, and I hope you're looking into that with your new house. But this is really unfortunate and sad for the landlord when she showed that like side piece of the wall with the cat. Like oh my gosh, it gets worse. And then I do want to acknowledge the punching the holes in the walls. She has been open with that and mentioned that because of her mental health, and that she wasn't on Zoloft, which love you Zoloft, I get it. But in the same sense, this is where I always talk about the mental health stigma, because if we can recognize when we need help and think things are falling behind, or you're quick to react a certain way, it's still not a crutch, right? Like it's like full acknowledgement, let's deal with it, and then not like keep reverting back to that excuse, which I have seen a lot on her page. So it's like, this is where I go back and forth, because I understand how hard it can be. But in the same sense, when she keeps acknowledging it and knowing, it's like, okay, girl, like you're there. So you do know right from wrong. Just because you have mental illness does not mean that you don't know right from wrong. You need to figure out like what that diagnosis is and why you're unable to like regulate your emotions and stuff like that. And I don't think, it's an excuse for like being violent, like punching holes in walls and stuff like that. But to each their own. Maybe that is the only way that you feel like you need to get that out. Anyways, the landlord special. First of all, you're not the landlord. You were the renter. Let the landlord make those decisions. You don't just like go and cover up potential long-term structural problems that could be happening. And I don't want to be rude, but like that windowsill, like that didn't look good. It looked very janky. It didn't look good, and neither did like the side one. But let's go on to the next one.
I added this backsplash to my kitchen, which I thought was rental friendly, but turns out it's not. My landlord's gonna be pissed when I remove the DIY backsplash.
Sorry, also, I just have to say, this type of voiceover drives me crazy. It drives me so crazy, and I get it. That's part of like the rage bait, clickbait side of TikTok. Why do we do this to ourselves? Okay, carry on. And also, this is really concerning, like the backsplash with, it looks burnt, so also concerning.
But it did. The paint came off with it. So now I'm screwed. There's no turning back. I can't put the peel and stick backsplash back on because it's not sticky anymore. So I ripped off everything. And while taking the backsplash off,
how do your light fixtures get broke? Like, or your electrical fixtures or whatever. I don't even know how to talk, so who am I to ask? How do they get, like, everything is broken. Everything is just trashed.
I broke stuff, but I have to fix everything in order for me to get my deposit back because my family and I are moving. And you might be wondering, why don't you just leave the backsplash? It's great. Maybe from afar, but if you come up close, you could tell that an amateur did it. It will not make the new tenant suffer with looking at it every single morning. After peeling everything off, I got some Goo Gone and sprayed everything down. I took all the lights.
I will say I do appreciate the efforts that she is going to. I can acknowledge that. I can acknowledge that this was a lot of effort to try to do the right thing, but you can tell that like her saying we'll see that later, like, so the new tenants don't have to deal with this, or the landlord doesn't have to do that. No, it wasn't. She was genuinely serious about wanting her damage deposit back.
Switch covers off because I don't want to break any more. Got my electric sander and sanded everything down, then wiped everything up. Now, thankfully, I do have some paint that matches the exact same color as the kitchen. Might look a little lighter here, but trust me, it is the exact same color. And I added the fresh layer of paint on all the spots where the backsplash was. Got a new outlet cover for the one that I broke and put all the other ones back on. Now, after doing all that, I don't think you could tell. Do you think my landlord will? Oh my god.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that. Do you think my landlord? Oh my god. And then I can't. Please. Please. Okay, this one might have, like, my jaw dropped. Okay, we're going to the garage now.
My landlord's gonna be so mad at me. I had 2 gallons of paint in the garage, and somehow the 2 gallons of paint is all over the garage floor now. Makes matters worse is I'm about to move. I cannot have my landlord see this. Because 1, I'm not gonna get all my security deposit back. And number 2, I'm gonna have to talk to her before I move out, and she's gonna see everything that's damaged in this house. And then she'll ask me what happened, and I'm not good with confrontation. Thankfully, the green paint was just 1 peel away from being completely gone. There were some areas that were still wet considering how thick everything was. The white paint had spilled months ago. It's definitely been on the floor longer, and I'm pretty sure the paint is different than the green one. It's not an oil-based or something, I don't know. It was giving me a run for my money. I went to the hardware store and I got some paint thinner, and I just completely submerged the spots in the thinner. I did end up waiting more time than usual because the paint was so thick. After about 30 minutes, I did grab a scraper and I scraped all the paint off. Well, all of the paint that I could with this round. I went back in with the paint thinner and I did one more layer. This layer totally did the job. The paint was coming up like butter. However, there was still so much paint on the floor, so I just called it quits with the paint thinner, then grabbed a trash bag to throw all of the paint that I scraped away. However, there was so much wet gunk because of the paint thinner, like a disgusting blob. So I wiped everything up and then I mopped it. The last thing that came to my mind was trying a sander. This is by far the best thing that has worked. Over here just sanding everything away, and then I thought, am I messing up the floor by scratching it with the sander? Whatever, because it's a garage floor. I just swept everything and then I mopped, and this is how it looks now. My landlord will never know. Now I should probably clean it better.
My favorite part of that was, and all of this paint is here for, I don't know how it got here. Well, the paint matches the cupboards that I did see you paint like a year ago in the kitchen, so I don't think we need to look far for the suspect, Amanda. Again, lots of effort put in. Appreciate the effort that was given, but it's like, to get to that point, do you know what I mean? You're going back and having to do like all of this like cleanup and damage control that you've done because you did it. You know, you treated that place like trash. I'm sorry that I don't think that that's very kind. I don't mean to be unkind, but that is the impression that I get. That's the impression that I get when I see it, and it actually makes me terrified because I very much want to have income properties, you know, in the near future. And this is the type of thing that is always in the back of my mind that I would never want to deal with. You know, I want people to respect the home like it is their own.
Long ago, I installed carpet in my daughter's room. It was horrible to clean, so I ripped it out and installed vinyl. Then that left me with a huge gaping hole between the baseboard and the floors themselves. So then I used quarter round trim to fill in the gap. Somewhere in my brain, I thought I could put this small little piece of trim in here and call it a day. No.
And this is what I'm talking about with the DIY projects, okay? She's like, oh, I don't want to deal with cleaning the carpet anymore, so I'm just going to rip it up and I'm going to put the vinyl in. And then you do it yourself to save the cost of doing it, and you do it half-assed, like just terrible. Let's not. Do it in your own home, but let's not and say we did.
And I still haven't redone it. Now that I'm moving out of this house in about a week, I have to fix this because 1, my landlord doesn't even know I put hardwood floors in this room. And number 2, I'm trying to get most of my security deposit back, considering my landlord will probably hire the most expensive contractor there is. I'm just gonna do this myself and finally do it the right way. So the very first thing I did today was take off the old quarter round trim. Fortunately, the previous kind that I got was so hard to cut and it was just so hard to work with. So after searching for alternatives, I found caulking tape, which I didn't even know was a thing. But turns out it was the best thing that I could have used here, in my personal opinion, because 1, it's waterproof, which is mold resistant, it's easy to clean, and so much cheaper. I didn't even finish installing the previous quarter round trim because of how expensive it was, and so easy to install. Even I can do it correctly. Considering my landlord doesn't even know I installed hardwood floors, do you think it was my responsibility to fix this? I personally think it looks 10 times better than before, so hopefully my landlord doesn't get mad.
This pisses me off too because I recall, maybe I'm making this up in my head just to have made myself feel better about the situation, putting myself in the landlord's shoes. But I feel like I remember seeing when she ripped up that carpet, saying like, I'm ripping up this carpet and putting this vinyl in my daughter's room. And I do think that she said my landlord doesn't know that I'm doing this. But then I thought that I had seen another video where she said something along the lines of like, now my landlord knows and agrees that it looks great. So this is, again, it pisses me off because whatever is true, like, then you're lying about something. If you did say that, then that's a lie, or this is a lie. And is it for the rage bait? What is it for? And I don't understand what people's goal is with rage bait. I get that it works temporarily. I mean, it can work long term too, but your credibility, your respect, if you want to be like taken seriously as an influencer, you know, or somebody like on TikTok or any social media for that matter, you're just, your integrity is really, it's I don't know. It's not really respected. I don't really respect people who want to upset a lot of people, like for a reaction, for clicks and views. It's just not my type of, like, personally, just like for me. I get that it works. And I get it. And to each their own. If you need to make money, but I just don't like, I don't like liars. I don't like any of that stuff. I'm completely side tangent right now because this is a really funny, weird crossover that's happening on TikTok right now. But like, Jeffree Star is now calling out Michaela Noguera for being a liar, which a lot of people have called her out for being a liar. She doesn't acknowledge things. She's so problematic. She does lie all the time, doesn't disclose partnerships and ads. But it's really funny because Jeffree Star is also so problematic that it's like seeing these two kind of like go at it. But I'm like, Jeffree, yeah, actually you do have some points here. You do. And that, yeah, Michaela is also another big one with like the ragey. It's cringy. It's icky. So you know what we're going to do? Let's watch more. Let's watch more.
I did a lot of stuff in this house without my landlord knowing. And yes, maybe that makes me a really crappy tenant.
Like you guys, the garbage. It's her daughter's room.
At least I'm trying to fix the stuff before I move out. I'm not gonna leave it here looking like a complete mess and leave my landlord with 100 tasks to do. I'd rather have it look somewhat decent by the time she sees it, especially considering she didn't know I did any of this stuff. The very first thing I'm doing today is painting the wall back to its original color. It saddens me because it's like erasing memories. While the paint was drying, I moved on to patching more holes in the house. Swear to God, the amount of holes that were inside this house was insane. I don't know why. It's a combination of me punching things and stuff falling on things. So I patched it, and you guys told me to get a wall texture spray. I've never used this stuff in my life before. It stinks so bad. And with wall texture, it's making the patch the same texture as the original wall, which I had no idea was a thing. And since I didn't know it was a thing, I had no idea what I was doing. I put it on the lowest texture and prayed that it would be okay. Painted it, and to me, it looked brand new. I removed the floor cover, and this is how the wall looks now. I think it's so sad that it's gone.
It looks brand new when you pull it aside, but when we were up close and we could see that you didn't like sand down, I am less than an amateur, but I at least know like we got to sand that down and make it as flush as we can, and then put the texture spray on, not have it like bubbly and bumpy, and then put the texture spray on so that it looks like all like warped. Oh, your poor landlord. Okay, this one this one might have been like one of they're all jaw dropping, but this is, I think, the one that actually like brought me back. She had like disappeared from my For You page for a little bit, and then I think this is the one that I was like, oh, you're moving out. Oh, this is what we're doing to try to fix the problems.
Turns out my landlord's probably not going to give me most of my security deposit back, and that's because I basically ruined the floors in this whole entire house. However, my daughter's floor seems to be the worst, and that's because I did it myself. But today I'm going to try and fix it, so maybe I'll get more than none of my security deposit back. Starting with the hole in this floor. I went on Amazon and I got some wood putty. Since the floor was hollow, I had to put something in it. The best thing I could think of was a cleaning rag that I will no longer use anymore. And then I grabbed sandpaper and basically used that as a seal. After that, I covered it with wood putty. I had to let that dry, so I worked on all the scratches on the floor. My main goal was not having to redo these floors, so I looked up, how do you fix scratches on the floor? Apparently, there's something called wood crayons, where you can color in the scratches and make it look better. Considering this isn't real hardwood floor, it made it look worse, so I can't use the crayons. I'm also really cheap, so I just bought a sample of the wood vinyl that I used before, because I really didn't want to have to buy planks. But turns out, though, it looked so bad. Like you may have guessed, I just just ripped up all my hard work, the ones that had scratches on it, and the vinyl that I had cut. I have to redo this. If you're wondering, Amanda, why? She's probably gonna rip this out anyways. No, she probably won't. The next idea I had was just to use a wall patch. I don't know what I'm doing. Again, I covered it over with wood putty. I'm really hoping it will work this time. So come back for part 2.
I will say, I do love that you learned how to do all of that. And I did learn something new with like the little thing. But we'll just keep remembering that she keeps saying, I don't want my landlord to have to deal with this. And I also want my damage deposit back. Or it's the least that I can do. We'll see what I think is like, like the true colors when we will hear from, we'll read text from the landlord. But before that, let's see more.
There's a huge hole in the floor of my daughter's bedroom. And what makes matters worse is I don't own this house. And I do not want to have to pay for this to get fixed. I did try and fix it by putting a shit.
That wasn't even the problem. That was not the problem. It's going back to the fact that like sanding, making level, then texturizing. That is like, it's appalling.
Ton of wood putty on it and shoving a cleaning rag in there. Thanks to you guys, I came to the realization that, hey, this is not okay. Maybe we could do it better. So we're gonna do that. Very first thing I did today was get all of my supplies. I got some plywood and I had to cut it to the exact measurements of the hole. But considering the hole was a circle, I had to cut it into a square so that way it would make everything easier. It did feel weird cutting into the floor and making the hole bigger. It's also the first time I've ever done something like this, so I was scared to mess it up even more. I learned when fixing a hole in the floor, you need 2 pieces of plywood, one that you could put into the floor, one to fill the hole. For the plywood going into the hole, attached a wire to it so that way I could pull it up and screw it into the floor. Just watch and I'll show you what I mean. By doing this, I can attach another piece of plywood on top. Done screwing it into the floor, I took off the wire. Now, since there is going to be a little gap, I did take the insulation that I took out of the hole and I put it kind of like a filler so that way it's the same level. Another piece of plywood that I cut out to the exact measurement and put it on top and screwed it on. I took a heavy duty putty and filled in any holes. If you guys think my family did this, however, it was a different tenant, but it was us to remove the carpet in this room and the hole was covered by carpet. So it's the least I could do because the hole wouldn't be shown if the carpet was still there. And now it looks better.
Here, okay. I appreciate that she's saying like I would never leave garbage around, but this kind of goes back to not only does your landlord not deserve for you to have lived like that in their home, but like you don't, your family doesn't, your children don't. And I know, I get it. Like, that's kind of how, like, she started. But this has gone on for, like, so long. And this can be, like, an argument of, well, that was what was hitting, so she kept doing it. Maybe she was, like, making the mess. I don't know. But it's just so problematic to me. Like, it just doesn't feel right. It makes me upset. It makes me upset for everybody, for the landlord, for her family, for living like that. And then trying to, like, be like holier than thou, being like, if you leave it like that, like you're a piece of shit. Well, you lived like that. Like, yeah, you may be cleaning it, but that was still like done in the house, for a long time. Cats peeing everywhere, scratching it. But I can appreciate that you took the time to clean and learn how to do things to like try to fix it. So I do also want to make that clear.
I would never move out of a house without completely cleaning it first. I've seen those videos where the landlords walk through and find trash and furniture left behind from the renters. That will never be me, and if that is you, then you are a POS. If you're a longtime hater, you might be thinking, Amanda, well, that's you. Funny enough, here I am cleaning everything, and everything will be clean by the time I move out. Now that I'm mentioning it, I only have 5 days to clean this house top to bottom because I really do want to get my security deposit back, but mainly I'm trying to leave my landlord as little work as possible. Today, I'm going to be cleaning the entire living room, dining room, and hallway, and I'm hoping I can maybe clean well enough to the point where I get charged as little as possible for cleaning services after we move out. If you didn't know, landlords do charge you for cleaning services, as they should, because it's your mess. And I do know, even if I clean everything really well, my landlord will probably still hire a cleaning service, but how much could the cleaning service really cost if there's a little to nothing to do? So my end goal is to clean everything so there's nothing left, to have this place super clean for my landlord, and to not be charged a lot for cleaning when it's coming out of my security deposit. But from the looks of this water, I'm not too sure about that.
Again, you're saying you're not too sure about that. You're acting like you're understanding, but later on, we're going to see otherwise.
I'm trying desperately to get my security deposit back. However, there's a lot of things I'm going to be charged for. My security
This is
deposit was
insane.
$5,000, and I'm going to show
This
you
is their
all the
stairs.
damages done to this property, and you let me know if you think I'll get my deposit back. Starting with the first step to the staircase, there isn't one because
This is what drives me crazy. I'm going to show you all the damages. I'm going to show you how shitty this place looks, how I treated it like trash. And then you let me know. You already know the answer. You already know the answer. This is so, I don't know. It's just like, it's just disrespectful. Again, I just go back to the freaking landlord. Where, can we find this landlord? I feel terrible. I feel like wanting to freaking, send even more of the damage deposit for her. Anyways, it's just terrible. And of course, like, people in the comments, and this is what drives me crazy, is like, she'll like say that knowing fully well people are going to be pissed off in the comments. And then she like gets on and like yells at people being like, oh, you think like you're going to call sepia, da, 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 da. It's like, you're getting that reaction out of people, and people be crazy on the internet. I don't condone like calling CPAPs or doing, unless you were seeing like, clip of something like on a live or whatever. And there was like abuse and stuff like that going on. Like, don't go real life, but, you are invoking that reaction into people. You're asking for their opinion. And then it's like, when she doesn't get, I don't know, whatever one she thought that they were just going to feed into her delusions, that's what this is, that, oh yeah, no, you're doing a really good job cleaning it up, like your landlord should totally give you everything back. She does get like defensive and upset. So that's what bothers me, because I'm like, at least if you're gonna like rage bait and you're gonna ask people for things, you gotta be ready for the honesty that they're gonna give you, and not like give pushback and just be appalled that this isn't normal. Like, this is not normal. It's not, coming from somebody who's been very low, hasn't always, done the best at like upkeeping for myself, my house. This is not normal. And I would know that this is not normal.
my old dog tore it up. Some of the carpet on the stairs came off too because of my cat scratching on everything. Also carpet from the hallway that we had ripped up so we could put down the vinyl. So most likely new carpets will have to be installed. We also took up the blinds to this window and we just threw them away. Why? I don't know. There's also these vertical blinds that will need replacing because my kids tore them off. Part of the kitchen countertops will need replacing too. Actually had nothing to do with this. Maybe because of water damage it fell off. I don't know. I'll probably still get charged for it. Next, we have a laundry door that needs a new slider thing, like up top so it could slide open. And the master bedroom's just gonna need a whole new door. If you're wondering, Amanda, how did this happen? Don't worry about it. Got to the point where it was falling off, so we just took it off. Then we have water damage to the baseboards.
It looks like it was like cut off with a chainsaw.
I shampooed these floors and apparently put too much water on it. And we also had an AC unit that would hang out our window. That was just flooding the floors.
That's concerning, right, you guys? Like, please tell me that's like mold concerning. And she had already mentioned something about like mold. That's concerning. That what, you're just going to paint over it and just like let it go?
And last but not least, there's a window screen that my cat scratched that will need replacing. So do you think I'll get my deposit back?
Do you think I'll get my deposit back? I can't. Oh, I can't. Okay, so this is going to be the last one that we're watching about like the attempts with the repair, the damage spot. Anyway,
this is the very last time I'm going to be cleaning the bathrooms in my old rental. I'm not talking about an average spot clean. I'm talking about one of the biggest deep cleans you'll ever see somebody do. If you don't know already, my family and I are moving into a new house. If maybe it's not necessary to have this place completely spotless by the time I move. I will admit, I do not want my landlord knowing how messy we made this place. I mean, at one point it was horrific. Maybe that does sound pretty selfish that I don't want her to know. Then again, no, because I'm here cleaning everything up. Today I'm going to be cleaning all 3 bathrooms inside this house. My back and my muscles are definitely regretting this, but I am on a time schedule. I only have 24 hours to get 3 bathrooms, 2 bedrooms, and the washer and dryer cleaned. And I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty satisfying knowing I'm not gonna be leaving this dirt and grime behind for the next tenants. It's also relieving to know my landlord won't have a huge to-do list when we move out. I wanted to leave her as little as possible to do, so she doesn't have to worry about a lot. But I also wanted to clean and fix this place to the best of my capability, because I do want to try and get some of my $5,000 security deposit back. I received a lot of comments from people saying there's no way in hell I'm going to get any of it back. And I've even received comments saying I'm probably going to owe $25,000. That to
Not
me is
that much,
insane.
but
There's absolutely no way I'll be charged that much. If you were to ask me how much you do think I'm going to be charged, I will admit, I don't think I'm going to be charged that much. I think I'm going to get at least half of the deposit back. Not only have I renovated many rooms in this house, but I have deep cleaned almost everything inside this house and have fixed most of the damages, some not even created by my family.
To deep clean a house that you lived in filth at times for, that's not like your gold star for getting your damage deposit back. But to say I renovated, that's not renovating. You DIY project things and you didn't do them well. Those are your own words. That doesn't mean that you get you get fucking money back because you decided to make adjustments to somebody's house on your own and didn't even do it well.
The only thing I really think needs to be done is the carpet needs to be replaced. And here in Oregon, the landlords don't have to replace the carpet unless the carpet's condition affects the property's habitability, and the tenants will be charged for it if it's due to the tenant's negligence, which in my case does apply to me. But ultimately, it's up to my landlord. And now we have to wait. Now all 3 bathrooms are spotless and so much better.
You know what? First, I do want to have just a little bit of a moment. Let's go through the new house, okay? Because I think at the end of this, I do like the fact that there was a win here. Regardless of how she got her content, everything, this is something to be very proud of. Buying your own home, I can't imagine how good it feels. I truly hope that she respects her home, and maybe that's kind of what she needs to reflect and be like, wow, this is the pride that I have in having a home, and think about what would happen if another family had moved in her home and treated it the way that she did. But let's hear her talk about her new home. For anybody that's just listening, she's just kind of doing like quick little video snippets of the house, and it's beautiful. Again, I can be annoyed with the type of content that she does and the delusions that she has that she thinks she deserves to get her damage deposit back, but also put myself in a situation like this, having very similar experiences of struggling in life, and then that pride of being able to be like, I freaking did that. Did that, you know? But anyways, as the clips are going through, the text on the screen says, POV, you bought your first house after couch hopping 10 years ago, thinking you never would be able to. And I think that's relatable for a lot of people. So I did want to take a minute to like show that. And I think we have one more where she talks about a little bit like herself. Okay, so this is another one that I think is like nice and inspirational. So it's again just kind of doing clips, and it's showing the earlier ones with her in the kitchen with like the green cabinets and all of the stuff on her counters. That's kind of like the type of style of stuff that she had. Like, let's clean this, like have a little bit of a reset. And her caption on the screen says, no matter what you're going through, and it's showing all of that. It says it's showing like the next stage of her life. She's in a wedding dress and in her new house, in her new kitchen. And the text says, don't ever give up. Life is waiting for you. Your trauma doesn't define you. Again, I can appreciate that. I can absolutely appreciate that, which is why I wanted to share that. So let's get to the text between the landlords, because this is when I was like, oh, you're serious. You are serious.
Moved out of the house I was renting, and I did everything I could to try and get some of my security deposit back. But when I was talking to my landlord today, things got kind of heated. Texted her asking, when will we hear back about the deposit? She said within.
So yeah, she's showing screenshots of the text. So she texts her and says, when will we hear back about the deposit? This is where I was like, I thought that was part of the rage bait. I thought that you were just like, knew damn well you're not, that's probably a loss, you know. To message and ask. When are we going to hear back about that?
In 30 days, waiting for a carpet estimate. That right there tells me I'm going to be charged for new carpet. And I was thinking, I put so much work into this house. Let me just shoot my shot and see.
So yeah, she says she put so much work into the house. Let me shoot my shot and see. And literally says, I put a lot of money into that house. The kitchen, bathrooms, and floors in the bedroom. Can we just call it even, or do you have to charge me? I just think I did so much to make the house be of more value. You DIY'd it horribly. Proof on TikTok that you've left water damage, like mold, potentially, allegedly, in there. Horrible, like spackling. And then to say, like, I made it a value. And if according to your own words, you did a lot of this without your landlord even knowing, value to who? I would be livid if somebody just started ripping up my fucking house.
Can we just call it even? Don't charge me for the carpet. She said we have to put a lot of money to restore the house that was damaged by your pet. Then she sends me these pictures. And
so, yeah, the landlord does say that. She says, we have put a lot of money to restore the house that is damaged by your pet. We don't need floor on the bedroom. Yeah. We have to restore it back to carpet. Exactly. Why did you make that fucking decision for them? I agree with this landlord.
While looking at these pictures, I noticed there was some normal wear and tear, screw holes in the walls, but what doesn't make sense to me is there were screw holes already in there when we moved in. And don't get me wrong, I do know there's a lot of things that need to...
She's talking about the screw holes, but then this screen is still showing like the ripped up carpet, the one carpet on the stair where the panel is just completely missing, the big spot and one stair carpet that's completely gone.
Be done to this house, but a lot of this just doesn't make sense to me. Just hear me out, okay? And let me explain why.
So she replies back. This is where I'm like, you're so disrespectful. Screw holes is normal wear and tear. And I know, and we know our rights. Some things weren't fixed prior to us moving in. Can't charge me for that. Your attitude is garbage. I would have been like, I literally would have had more respect for her if she was like, that's fair. Girl, that's fair. Don't charge me, actually. Keep it and don't charge me. That's calling it even. That's calling it even. Not getting saucy and being like, I know my rights. She didn't just show the screw holes. And she could have also been showing that you said that you ripped off the blinds in there. I don't think that had anything to do with the screw holes. You literally said first of all, that there was a bunch of blinds missing. And then you ripped off the like drapery and threw it out. So then she says, and let's be realistic. Most of the stuff you're sending me in the pictures, besides the carpet, was done because we're living there for 5 years, right? So you want to charge me for the littlest things such as screw holes or a tiny crack in a container, which isn't that big of a deal? You should have fixed a lot of stuff in that house prior to us moving in, and you didn't. There were punch holes in the front door, punch holes on the refrigerator. You didn't do anything about that. Question mark. But you also said yourself that you punched multiple holes. Why are all these people punching things?
As one, I know screw holes are normal wear and tear.
She goes, yeah, the baseboards were missing from the previous tenant. I could go on, but you didn't fix those things. So why do you want to fix everything now all of a sudden? I'm confused. Well, you were there for 5 years and you treated it like shit. Absolute shit. That's why.
And there was damages done to the house before we moved in, wondering why those things weren't fixed. There was things like punch holes on the front door in the refrigerator, baseboards missing, and corners of baseboards chewed up by a dog. Because why all of a sudden does she give a big flying fuck if everything is fixed, but didn't fix everything from the previous tenant? I get she wants it to be perfect for the next tenant, but why wasn't it perfect when we moved in?
So she goes on, just like spam texting. A lot of stuff you have in the house is cheap as hell. So yeah, it's going to have normal wear and tear. The audacity. This is what I don't like. I don't like when someone's saying something that they can, they're like, okay, like I'm probably not going to get any money back, but here's, here's for hoping that even if I don't get anything back, at least I'm not going to be charged. And then that's calling it a day and moving on. For you to go and then just like try to like throw out your, you know, like excuses or what? Get defensive. There we go, Sherrilyn. Get defensive and point the finger and be like, okay, yeah, I did, you know, like you knew, you know, you did something wrong. And it's okay to just like acknowledge that and accept that and move on, as opposed to being like, oh yeah, well, if I did this wrong, you did this wrong. And how about your cheap as hell house? Your house is cheap as hell.
Let me make it clear, my number one complaint is not the fact that she may be charging me a lot. I completely understand a lot of the things that she's charging me for. It doesn't make sense to me if she wants everything so perfect, but it wasn't for us.
It doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. You said yourself you were there for 5 years. You were not a perfect tenant. You were horrible. That to me, like seeing the condition that house was lived in, that's like beyond wear and tear. I should actually go back and see if I can find photos of one of like the oldest apartments that I had lived in. Oh, I was talking about that the other day with somebody. I missed that apartment so much. It was like my baby, and it was something that I was so proud of doing and like being out on my own with my daughter. And I remember I had such pride when my landlord came and he was like, oh my God, like he's like, how does it look better? And I didn't go DIYing myself. I just took such good care of it. I was so proud of it. It was my baby. You can live in somewhere a long time. I think I was there for like 4 years. You can live in a place for a long time and treat it well, so that literally the only like wear and tear is like screw holes in the wall. In fact, actually, that was his only complaint, was that I wanted to make his job a little bit easier. So where I had hung some pictures, I put like a little bit of putty in it. And, well, I didn't put a little bit, sorry. Like I had, you know, like almost like the square one. And then he just said, next time, like if you're ever to do this again, just use your finger and go like this, like it's a littler one, because it's like way easier to like make like seamless when I have to, you know, like fill in the paint later. And I was like, oh, okay, good tip. Thank you. But I didn't make adjustments and trash his home. And I can imagine that like the beating that the house got, this is like not, to me, it does not seem like normal wear and tear. So she says, I feel like you're trying to do absolutely everything you can because you have my $5,000 security deposit. Like you have more spending power. Again, it's her property. And you didn't treat it you didn't treat it like you wanted that money back. You treated it like you already had the decision made up in your mind that, we're already going to lose it anyway, so might as well just fucking add to the list. That's just my opinion. That's how it looks from an outsider point of view, just in case like you were to ever to come across this and don't know how it looks. That's exactly how it looks. It's not your call. It's not your property.
Maybe it's because she wants to put the home up for sale, but that just means the repairs are going to come out of our pocket. Some of the repairs should have been done by the previous tenant's security deposit, but never was. First initial thought is, ooh, we got a little scammer. Maybe she's pocketing the money without fixing the things that need to be fixed. No, maybe I'm full-blown Delulu, but we will see.
A scam. You guys, she ripped out their carpet. That was one thing. Put in like the janky vinyl flooring. Carpet missing on the stairs. The cat scratched up everything, and then we have a scammer. This is where I'm like, this can't be real, but these are her actual text messages. These were actually sent. And maybe yes, sweetheart, I'm not a medical professional, but I'm saying right now, yes, please. You are Delulu. Because you did actually think this is real. There was a point where I was kind of like following along this journey and I was like, oh, she can't be serious. And then when I saw these text messages, that's when I got fired up and I was like, I got to talk about it. Because maybe you just do need someone to hear that you're Delulu. Again, don't go, you guys, like, please, we don't need to go, it'll just stay here. It'll just stay here. Put it out there. We don't need to go and like send hate or anything like that. I don't think that she deserves like hate, but I think that there needs to be like a little bit of self-reflection, a little bit of a reality check. You asked. Maybe I'm full-blown Delulu? Mm-hmm. You are. So anyways, she did get a lot of opinions. She asks for them. So I guess like that's kind of I don't know. Be kind. I think that there's a way that we can give like positive reinforcement, but a little bit firm. So she did get that. So I think she got like a lot of people being like, yeah, you are delusional. So then she tried to make a follow-up video of explaining herself and why she reacted the way that she did.
Yesterday, I posted a video of me texting my landlord about my security deposit. I don't know if I expressed myself to the best of my capability because I did receive a lot of comments telling me I was wrong. Maybe I am wrong. I'm not saying I'm right. The main point of the video was going over what I could be charged for, things that she had sent me that were not done by my family, so I was expressing my confusion. These photos are examples of—
It wasn't expressing your confusion. You were rude. You insulted her property that you lived in for 5 years. And again, I'm like a broken record right now. Disrespected. And it's like the backtracking. No, don't try to manipulate us. Don't try to gaslight. We just heard it all. We read the text messages.
What I mean by damages done by another tenant. I do want to make it very clear. I know all the damages my family has done has exceeded normal tear and wear. Definitely not contesting her over that fact. I know I need to pay and I'm happy to do so. And I do agree I was a little upset inside those text messages. I am PMSing. I'm sorry, okay? Sometimes I let my emotions—
Again, let's stop using mental health. Let's stop using women, you know what? And I get it. We all have bad days, but no, like that's just, you were saucy. You literally expected to get it. And then you started, punching below the belt.
Get the best of me, even in my TikTok videos. If I seem like I was trying to have you guys gang up on my landlord, that's truly not my purest intentions, not at all. I was quite literally just so confused over the fact that I was being charged for other people's damages and little things such as screw holes, which is considered normal tear and wear. I was trying to give you guys an update, but it also had my emotions attached. I wholeheartedly apologize if I upset anyone. I never intended yesterday's video to perceive that I was contesting my damages. In the beginning of the video, I said, so I will be charged for carpet. I wanted to say that so that way people that have been commenting she can't charge you. Carpets should be replaced every 5 to 7 years. In my case, it has definitely exceeded its normal wear and tear. It has to be replaced because of my negligence. I try and make this place immaculate before I moved out. Which part of me did this so my landlord wouldn't have to worry about it and she would be happy. I was just shocked to see the little things she was charging me for, such as screw holes. I never intended to make it look like I'm contesting my damages. So if I put off that interpretation, I'm truly sorry because that was not my intent. However, this is the very last time that I cleaned this kitchen. I scrubbed it head to toe as I should. The water was so gross, but now it's all clean and looks so much better.
No, I don't buy it. You didn't like that people were calling you out for your really rude behavior. We didn't see like a lot of the exchange from the landlord. From what I could see, like from the blurred screen, there was a lot of like Amanda sending her things and the landlord not really saying much. And again, so I don't think that the landlord was even really focusing on like the screw holes and stuff like that, because as she's like flipping through the pictures showing what the landlord was giving as examples, a lot of that was the actual damage that was done. So the backtrack, when she's like, I didn't want you guys to like gang up, or I don't want you to think that that was like my intention so that you would like gang up. I don't think that was anybody's intention of ganging. I feel horrible. I would love to meet your landlord and I don't know, give her a hug. I just can't help but put myself in that position of somebody doing that to my home that I just love so much. And I hope now that she has her own home that she's worked hard for and never thought that she was going to get, is able to develop some empathy and put herself in that landlord's shoes. It seems that all she really cares about is herself and the way that she interpreted it and focusing on the nails like that. Why would you focus on that one picture? There was like 1 or 2 pictures of that nails and everything else was the literal damage that was done. Awful damage, structural damage that was done to that property. Not at all about the screw holes. I don't think that was a factor really at all. Maybe it just like ended up in the bunch of pictures. Anyways, I hope that there's a lot of reflecting that is being done here. Like I said, I can absolutely relate to going through really tough times and low times and hard times, especially trying to like upkeep a house and a family and your kids and everything. But it's not an excuse to disrespect, somebody else's property that you're living in, even if you're living in it for 5 years. Like, it's still not yours. To be like, we lived here for 5 years, like, okay, great. It doesn't mean that all of a sudden you just like take ownership. You're there temporarily, unless you want to buy it. And I don't think that you would have wanted to buy it because of how poorly the condition was of that home. I'm glad that she has a new beautiful home. I really am. And I hope that she treats it well. And I hope that if she ever finds herself in a position of being able to, you know, have multiple income properties and help out other families to live there, that she can, you know, understand like maybe where her landlord was coming from one day. Because at this point, it doesn't seem like that post of like kind of trying to like explain herself. There's no explaining. You showed your true colors. You showed that you literally expected, like that you were entitled to getting money back because you did a thorough deep clean. No, babe. No, that's not how it works. Okay. That's it for me today. I'm a little bit ragey. I get it though. We all need to just like have a little bit of grace and understanding. I don't want anybody this video is in no way whatsoever intended to go and like send her any hate whatsoever. I just truly hope that like putting something like this out there can help like not only her, but you know, like other people too. I think it also helps us like reflect on ourselves and be like, that was really weird. It was really weird that you reacted that way to your landlord being upset with the way that they came and found their house. So maybe let's not do that and figure out how we can help that. I did see that she has said that, you know, Zoloft is helping her. And babe, I get it. Zoloft is helped me so much in my life for a very, very, very long time. And yeah, so I'm happy that she is doing things to kind of like rectify some of her actions and behaviors. But yeah, this was not a good look. And I think that I just needed to talk about it because I've been so invested like with her like living there and just being curious like this whole time that I had like, you know, randomly been catching her videos about like, she talks a lot about like being a renter. And I always think about the landlord. So now that this kind of like this chapter like closed and I was able to talk about it, I just needed to. So thank you guys for listening. You know, when I get in my rabbit holes, I gotta just, Chelsea said that the other day. She's like, you gotta just get out of them, don't you? I'm like, I can't get out unless I talk about it. It cannot just be like within my thoughts. So I appreciate so much that you guys let me share and that you guys have been enjoying the little bit of a break and like side sweep here. Okay. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. I will miss you terribly. Until then, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Yeah, we need to get the subscribers. Like, keep going, you guys. They've been coming up. And like I said, the feedback, the algorithm be algorithming. It seems like so much of my audience, the feedback I'm getting is that you guys are really kind of liking like the little bit of like lighter, refreshing thing. And right now, I've already said it's at this point, this is what I'm capable of providing. So it makes me really happy that a lot of you guys can also resonate with that, and that this is kind of like what you guys are also needing in life. Isn't that weird? You know, like how like you just like, I think it's such a cheesy thing to be like, you know, like your people will find you, but I think that has been so consistent with my channel. Like if you have been here, you know, all of these years, it's almost like we're kind of like going through ebbs and flows, a lot of us at the same time. So, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of like a comfort to me to be like, all right, okay, well, like everybody is also like feeling a little bit better, and this is like more comforting to you as well. So, okay. I love you all. Be safe tonight. Have so much fun with your kids. If you can, if you can post on Patreon and show me if you're there, or if you want to like join and do that, I want to see all the pictures, or just let me know in the comments. I would love to hear what you guys are going to be. This is like my favorite time, and I'm really regretting not having a party, but also was needed. The mental break was needed. So have fun. I will see you in the next video. I will miss you terribly. Until then, I already said all this. Love each other. Love yourself, and I will see you soon.